You could laying it up. You were laying it up. Yeah. Fueling the fire, lighting it up. Shane and Brandon brought here to heat things up. From the lab to the mic, we bring the heat. The controlled burn where science and street meet. Testing the limits, breaking the mold. Oklahoma roots, our story's bold. With every episode, a spark ignites. Join the ride as we blaze through the nights. Not alone in Porto, waiting, come home.
Welcome to the Controlled Burn. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Shane Davis.
And Brandon Fountain.
We are the Controlled Burn.
Come on.
Controlled Burn. Hold on. Do we need to put the "the" on there? We've got our cool symbol up here. And I keep saying, I said the Controlled Burn, and then I looked at it, and Controlled Burn?
Yeah.
We're Controlled Burn?
We're not there yet. We're going to get there.
We'll get there.
We're gonna have a new logo.
We have headsets.
We do.
You're kind of half in, half out, huh? You're 50-50
I'm not fully committed yet.
Hey. You got to commit 100% to get the full effect, the full vibe.
Do I? All right, I'm committing.
Talk to me.
Claustrophobic. I don't like it. No.
All right, man. So it's been a hell of a week in Oklahoma cannabis. It is April 3rd, 2025. Should I have said that? Or we got to cut that out?
I don't know.
We're gonna post it.
I don't think it matters.
4 months. No. We've been practicing. We've got. I think this is our fifth recording.
Sixth.
I think so. Really?
I think
we should be at like 13. But
agreed.
No, we're stretching our legs, trying a couple of different ways. I think we're getting there. I think we're working on it. So it's middle of the week. It's been literally a crazy week. So on one side of the fence, you have Oklahoma lawmakers, Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics, DOC, I think the Department of Public Safety, through an emergency press conference on the dangers of Oklahoma cannabis right now. And so that took over. I think they did that on Friday or maybe even Saturday of last week. That took over Monday, Tuesday, half of Wednesday. And then now we have State Question 837 has been pushed through, and that is the adult legalization, adult use of cannabis of anybody 21 years or older.
You think that their broadcast was just divine timing that 837 got announced?
No.
You don't think so?
No. So I think they're smart enough because this was an emergency conference. This wasn't, a planned conference. This was something that came out of the blue. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a ton of press there or at the event. There was a ton of coverage after the fact. But I think with State Question 837, that was, it's been in the works. It's been in the rumblings now for, I've been hearing about it for at least a couple months. Before 837, we had, there was been at least one other attempt to, and that was a little different because it was recreational. It was to make medical recreational, which doesn't sound a ton different from what we're saying.
I think it was an addition too, wasn't it?
Possibly. Yeah. Maybe. I know the transition here, like if 837 does pass, medical dispensaries have 60 days to essentially comply with what adult use consumption is. So, like I know in Colorado, you have recreational dispensaries and you have medical dispensaries, and a lot of them are, the same. And you'll walk into a rec dispo, and if you have your Colorado medical card, you go to like its own private section. And on the rec limit, I think it's like an ounce per day in Colorado, and maybe 100 milligrams of edible at a time. On the medical side, if there are limits, which I don't think there are, but if there are, you can buy the 10,000 milligram. Sure. So if that's the case, you can't completely get rid of medical marijuana or medical opportunities because. We all in this industry have done enough events, have met enough people to know that the true patients of medical marijuana, specifically edibles, a lot of them are former or reforming opioid addicts, and for whatever reason, whatever receptors that you damage when you're using methadone or Oxycontin or heroin, it'll permanently damage certain receptors that make the cannabinoids like next to impossible to actually absorb into your body. So
Really?
yeah, and that's why you'll see the guys that like me or you. I eat 30 milligrams of any type of cannabis. Your boy throwed.
Brother, if I have 30 milligrams, I'm hating life.
No, I'm probably going to wake
Usually.
up high.
Yeah.
And that's the worst. But we've met those guys that'll eat 20,000 milligrams in a 24-hour period, and they're fine.
I met a guy at a dispensary over on Admiral several years ago called House of Dank. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
Dude was in there because there's a company called Jacked Up, and they make a 10,000 milligram chocolate bar.
They were like the first big boy chocolate bar,
Yeah.
if I remember.
Man, this guy was coming in there because they just released that 10,000 milligram chocolate bar. He normally went in and bought their 4,200 milligram bar because I think that was something they did for a while first or something like that. And he was telling me that he basically has to eat 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams just to like feel the effects.
Oof.
That's crazy.
Well, and
But he was an opiate user.
behind the curtain on edibles in regards to cells, the higher the THC percentage, the bigger that profit margin is for the producer. The cost of goods in a 100 milligram chocolate bar and the cost of goods in a 1,000 milligram chocolate bar aren't a big difference. And if you're one of those people that the cannabis saved your life, like, you're going to continue to buy them. And if the limit's 100 milligrams per chocolate bar, you're going to have to buy a lot of chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Or, I guess, syringes at that point.
You would have to.
Yeah.
There's no way you're eating it through chocolate if you have to eat. If every piece of chocolate's 10 milligrams, a bar's 100, you got to have 1,000. Like, you got to smash 10 candy bars to get there? That's crazy.
Well, and I bet there's no dairy free. I'd have a bad day, man.
You'd be cooked.
Little inside baseball on Shane Davis. So I love Frosted Flakes. I really enjoy me a bowl of Frosted Flakes.
So much so that he's willing to risk it.
Willing to risk it all for some Frosted Flakes. So I
extremely lactose intolerant.
well, it's a fairly new development in my life. Like I haven't always been this way.
Yeah.
It's like the older I get, the more milk ruins me. Like and it's like I'm not even like I don't even like milk anymore. Like when I see milk, I'm like, ugh.
You don't just want to drink a glass of milk?
Have you ever eaten something and for whatever reason you just like hurled it and then you were done on that for 7 years?
Yes. Oh yeah. Wendy's chicken sandwiches. But yeah, go ahead.
Dude, Wendy's sucks. But no, so I don't even like. Yeah. We don't need her. No, not when we have 918 Prince. If you guys have any questions or want to holler at 918 Prince, use promo code the CB. We'll get you probably 10% off.
Get that set up.
Can we do that? We'll make it happen. But nah, man. So yeah, a bowl of cereal for me, like especially midnight. I had a 15 milligram edible, maybe a joint, and I want to eat a bowl of Frosted Flakes. Tomorrow is gonna be awful.
Yeah,
I'll sleep on the couch. Like that's how much of a commitment it is. I won't even go to bed. My wife will ask me like, "Why don't you go to bed?" I'm like, "Frosted Flakes." Like, Frosted.
Because I got up 6 times to shit.
right. But outside of lactose, what do you when you brought that up a minute ago? Whether you think it was by design that both of these things, because it's really like a yin yang. You've got the complete polar opposite sides of the coin right now going on in our industry. We've got one side of it that they're literally saying from 2024 to 2025 of March that there are 70 million pounds unaccounted for, and this is Donnie Anderson, the director of OPN. 70 million pounds.
That's crazy.
Unaccounted. If you break that into money, so let's say and these numbers are super. I use these numbers because they're close enough. They're a little high, but the math was a little easier for me. Let's say your average price per pound is $1,600 a pound. Okay, and you're selling ounces of that pound out the door for $100 an ounce. Okay, so you've got 16 ounces, right?
Yeah,
and in a pound.
Wait.
Or no, yeah, 4, right?
12. Yeah,
Sorry, 16.
My bad.
Okay, so if you break that down to in which, there's going to be different transactions. They're going to buy quarters, eighths, ounces, but we're going to do this in ounces.
Okay.
Which, selling it anything under an ounce, you get a little bit more bang for your buck. Just like back in the day, $20 a gram, what, 35 a quarter or eighth, an eighth, 35 an eighth. Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of back in the days, right? So
right.
Yeah.
But essentially, in dollars, 70 million pounds of unaccounted for is 1.5 billion in state tax dollars that they would have lost. If you take the state's or the cannabis excise tax from OMA and the state's tax, put those together, that's around 1.5 billion in tax dollars that they would have lost. So of course they're mad, right? Of course they want to figure this problem out. What do you think on this situation?
I don't really know. So here's the thing. I asked because I think that there's a low chance, and I don't know, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I think there's a low chance that OBN is extremely excited to see adult use go through.
I know.
Maybe they are.
They're not.
But I don't think they are.
No.
So what?
Did you watch that video or that conference at all?
Not really. No, I listened to it a little bit when you were watching it, but I was working on something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But so my thing is obviously the state bill or the state question, getting presented happened before. You think it was just pure dumb luck and not by design at all that they had to release that to? Because here's the thing. What I did get from that was that, they wanted the people that would potentially be voters to know that there's
danger.
Reefer madness. Yeah.
No. I agree with you. I mean, the press conference is like 43 minutes long.
Jesus.
I watched the entirety of it. Okay, the word propaganda was used several times from Donnie Anderson, director of OBN, in regards to marijuana safety. So there were, people keep saying that cannabis is safe, it's not dangerous, and that is an outright lie, per Donnie Anderson.
You've got two perspectives, right? You've got the guys like me and you that know that there's not enough cannabis that I could consume or you could consume that could cause any probably issues.
Yeah.
I think we're not bagging on OBN at all, because we very much need OBN. OBN is, responsible for keeping our industry clean as well and helping get rid of the bad actors. But I think they're looking at, and maybe we're just ignorant to it, maybe we don't know, right? But I think they're seeing a lot of the ugly side of the bad actors and what they do with it and what it brings to the state, quote unquote, in, the 70 million pounds that are unaccounted for, which it blows my mind if that's the real number. Jesus Christ. It makes me think that surely to God that's not. I mean, maybe, yeah, that's.
Well, there's a lot of people claiming that most of the information, because there was a lot of stats thrown at you in a short period of time. There were a lot of quote unquote facts.
Yeah.
Essentially, there was a lot of propaganda against marijuana. Mm-hmm. In which they're kind of tossing that the other way, and that's kind of where this gets weird. Is you on one side of this coin, you've got Orca. They're the main foot moving forward on that state question 837. You've got
Jed. It's a good dude.
Well, with 837, there's no restrictions to how much marijuana you can actually grow. Okay, so that's a big problem for OBN and DOC.
Yeah, that'll get fixed.
Right. I mean, it's where OBN is coming from. and I think a lot of their information is for sure misguided, but where they're coming from, and kind of where they're putting the focus on this, less, what they're saying to the public and what they want the mom, that doesn't smoke, that's at home, the kind of the fear monger, if you will, that they're throwing at us, is that since the beginning of medical marijuana in Oklahoma, there's been I forget the percentage number, but an insane increase in underage consumption. So before medical marijuana, Oklahoma was ranked 43rd in the country for underage cannabis use.
Okay.
They said now we're ranked 3rd in the country. And I did my somewhat of my due diligence. I didn't spend 24 hours on the topic, but I definitely jumped in. And with a quick Google search, I found the study that they did cite. That study's from 2020 and 2021. So that's not a great representation of today. You're coming right off of a pandemic, right?
Sure.
Because another fact or statistic that they are using is crime, domestic crime. How do you say it? Traffic, vehicular crimes associated with cannabis. What they fail to mention, though, in this, why this is kind of a propaganda campaign towards insane restrictions of cannabis, is all kinds of crime went up. Everybody was at home. Domestic crime, alcoholism, alcohol-related crime, cannabis-related crime.
And also, was it per capita, or because also with cannabis coming into the state, we've also increased in population exponentially.
Right. So, and that's another thing they do kind of touch on is we have 12 times as many grows as the state of Colorado. Okay,
they got triple the amount of people, probably, or more.
Or they have 2 million more is what the number is.
Okay, so
they have 2 million more people than we do. If you combine medical dispensaries and rec dispensaries in Colorado, we have 2 times the amount of dispensaries.
Damn.
Right. And if you go to Colorado, because that was kind of our first experience in this industry,
Denver
was going up there. You have a dispensary on every corner. We didn't go.
Well, we went to Denver too.
I went to Trinidad.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did.
And then I went
that
to Denver.
Without me. Yeah. What was Trinidad like?
Yeah, same deal.
Really?
Several, but that's with before Oklahoma went medical mined, right? So,
Sure.
In Oklahoma, you can't drive down a street without seeing 2 dispensaries.
Yeah.
I do agree that we got a little excessive, right?
Oh yeah.
You put no limits on it. You made the
bar of entry was way lower.
Crazy low.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, you saw a ton of people that maybe had no business getting in business.
Yep.
We know a lot of people. I had friends of mine.
As I say, I know people that in my, I love them, my peoples, but probably had no business.
I had a buddy of mine, and this guy's a successful business owner. But if you know nothing about cannabis, it's a different thing.
It's tough.
Yep. And this guy fell into the trap of hiring that master grower, master grower, whatever bullshit. And he calls me, and this is about a month after Metric went live. So you at this point, everything needs to have a tag. You need to be using the Metric inventory tracking system. I go there because he's like, "Hey, I've got all this stuff. I need to sell it. Tell me, can you help me?" I'm like, yeah. Let me stop in and see. I go there and I'm like, okay, let me, where are your tags at? And he's like, what?
Oh shit.
I'm like, what do you mean what? I'm like, where's your Metric tags at? And then I'm like, hey, where's your master guy at? And I go talk to him. I'm like, hey man, where's the let me see your Metric. Let me check your inventory. Let's see. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And this was after.
Well,
I had to be
about obviously. A month after.
Well, the reason I asked is because there was that point where Metric was going to be integrated, and then it wasn't. But a lot of people had already ordered tags and had tags for a while before.
Right, when they blocked it.
Yeah, when they blocked it. So this was after the second. This was after it was live. After May.
at least a month after.
Jesus, Murphy.
And so I look my friend, and this is, he's a good guy. Yeah. He's not going out trying to break the laws. He put all of his faith into, somebody else that was supposed to handle everything. Jeez. And I pull him to the side, and I'm like, hey, bud,
you guys
this right here, this is called a black market illegal grow operation. And he's like, hold on, what? I'm like, let's do this. What's your OMA login? And I go to try to help him go on there. He didn't even have an active OMA license.
Oh,
he had submitted it, and they had responded, because there was an error, and they never opened it up to fix it. So he has no tags, has a inactive OMA license. I said, hey, brother, I got to leave. I can't be here. I'm like, they could show up right now, put you in handcuffs, put your partner in handcuffs, take you to jail, take all of your stuff, take your property. This could ruin your life. And he fired that guy and cut bait on everything.
Yeah, good for him.
Cut bait on everything. He's like, oh, yeah, I don't have any business doing this. Yeah. I'm like I know.
I bet that happened, maybe not that exact scenario, but I bet that happened more than we could even fathom.
Well, just think about.
If it can happen to one person, it can happen to multiple. I mean,
Well, there's a huge community of non-English speaking cannabis growers, right? Think of all. I mean, the majority of those guys, they're at the mercy of their metric person, their compliance person. With what the Department of Homeland Security. Their deal from like a month ago where they're like, we're working together with OBN. If you are not a resident of Oklahoma, if you're on a work visa, or a school visa, or if you're not an Oklahoma resident or an American citizen, you are not allowed to work in the cannabis industry. The OMA will credential you. Sure. Because it's essentially a federal deal,
right?
But you technically are not allowed to work in cannabis, not just in Oklahoma, but in any state.
Anywhere, yeah, because it's a federal thing.
Well, and the amount of, because I mentioned that to a couple metric compliance people that I know represent some places, and they were like, huh?
Yeah, didn't have any idea.
Have no idea. I'm a salesperson for a cannabis testing lab. I don't do compliance. I would never consider myself qualified to do compliance for any company. But I promise you, I could put myself out there, and there's a whole group of people who have no idea what they're doing, and they're still operating, they're still in business.
They believe every word you said.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't know.
Yeah.
And that's if you break a law and you don't know what it's a law, that still is on you. You got to do your due diligence. You have to. You should definitely have the people around you doing their due diligence. Like, you got to follow these groups. You got to be in these organizations. You got to read the rules. I mean, it's a must.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's So I haven't had anything that cool happen, but I have seen some shit, and I have seen some people that were severely underinformed about the state of being of their grow, or the state of legality of their grow. And I mean, dude, I'll be honest with you, bro, to this day I still pick up samples, and people I still encounter people from time to time that don't know what a field sampling log is, don't know that you're supposed to have your metric tag stuck to the product, don't know that you're supposed to have a tamper evident seal. And it's just like, damn,
well,
I guess it's just, and that's different for sure, but like it's like, I don't think I know for a fact there's no way that I would own a business and not. I feel like that's pretty basic stuff.
Not a business where you could go to jail.
Yeah.
For the products that you sell.
Right.
I'm gonna know the rules. Like and yeah, man, they're ever changing. They're always evolving. That's what this is, dude. You got to evolve with it or die. I mean, it ultimately, I know that's not fun. That's not like inclusive to everybody, but you got to stay on top of your shit, or you are going to be put in handcuffs. You're going to go to jail. You're going to lose your whatever, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the amount of people that we know personally that have been put in handcuffs, and a lot of times it's it's something that they they planned. Like they show up with 9 people, cars, you're like, whoa.
Oh, yeah. Well, OMA has agents now, and they don't. See, before they relied heavily on local law enforcement or OBN to basically come with them or show up with them when they were going to shut somebody down.
Right
now, OMA's got peace officers. I mean, they're officers.
They carry weapons.
They're agents. They're weapon. They're cops basically. If they come in to shut you down, they have the ability to arrest you, put you in handcuffs, detain you, take your bitch ass to jail.
Well, and then all of them have the laser tag body cameras on them now.
Oh, really?
They have the
laser tag.
Yeah, I mean that's what my brain thinks of when I see them. I had one of our customers, and it was they tried to arrest him in type inspection because they showed up with the inspectors or investigators.
Yeah.
And then everybody's wearing the body cameras. They even had it was in Muskogee, so they had the Muskogee County sheriffs were there. They spent all day there. They spent 6 hours there, and ultimately didn't find anything, and they left. And this was a year ago, and that place is still operating. But they definitely, and that one was based.
They came there ready to fuck some shit up if they needed to.
Well, so anybody can issue a complaint.
Yeah.
To OMA and OBN. And I think
they have a business-to-business complaint portal, I believe.
Well, and I think by law they have to respond or investigate. Yeah. They got to look into it. And so this was a thing where it was a disgruntled employee did a bunch of deals saying they were selling to people without cards. And so
they go to, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, and I know. There's a little, there's some salty babies in this industry. I love it when we were selling, you'd go to these towns, out a pretty good way out, and you'd always have that dispo that was like, yo,
do you sell to so-and-so?
Well, I'll buy from you, but you can only sell it to me.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, dude, I'm here for it. I'll do that all
Absolutely.
day.
Let me show you what that looks like.
Right. If there's 8 dispensaries in your town and I'm going to get an average order of X, I need you to pay me Y, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you a slight discount off that to make it look all right. But, in going back to this, it was the OBN press conference. The report was done from the high intensity drug trafficking area. It's a weird.
So I have the press conference. It was, this is a 30-minute version of it. But yeah, that's crazy. So I heard a quote from that press conference.
Okay. I think I know the quote you're talking.
Yeah. It kind of, once again, man, I'm not, I don't have, I don't want to say I love OBN, but I mean, I very much am in support of OBN doing the things that need to be done, right? Because we need them.
We're not here to defund the fucking police.
No,
that's not. No. That's
bro,
crazy.
that quote was crazy,
bro. It's no. We need enforcement of laws. All we ask is. Or all I ask personally, I'm not going to put your name on this, but all I ask personally is don't bullshit us. Don't try to lie to us because you think we're dumb. Let's make some rules and regulations with a little bit of common sense involved. It's so kind of what you're touching on here. If you want me to throw it out. This quote. Yeah. Okay, so
hit me with it.
In reference to Colorado having 2 million more people and us having 2 times the dispensaries with their medical and rec, Arkansas, which is comparable in population, because there was somebody there that kept asking him. So, do you believe? Are you fully aware or accept the fact that there's going to be legal, licensed owners of medical marijuana companies who are trying to do everything the right way, who are maintaining a level of compliance? Do you realize that a lot of those people are going to go out of business? And he tried to kind of jump around the question a little bit. They asked it a couple different ways, but ultimately he said, yeah. He said Arkansas has 8 grows and it is comparable to the size of Oklahoma, 8 grows. So that tells me that we have 2,392 too many grows.
Wow.
Yeah, that 2,393 plus 8 is the amount of grows that we have in Oklahoma. He
basically just said that he wants.
What would that be? 97% of the grows in Oklahoma he wants gone?
Yeah.
Or higher? Shoot.
So I can just tell you right now, I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Bro, well, yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. But, we didn't. I'm trying to strike a balance here between, good sense and also, the intention of the people speaking and getting what they wanted with 788. Dog, we didn't come into, existence the way that Arkansas did. We came in with, we knew the kind of market that we wanted. Now, granted, I think that 788 was not, perfect in the way it was written. I am a guy that, and this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I'm a guy that I think the barrier of entry was a little too low, personally. And I understand that that's probably not a popular opinion. I'm trying to look at this from just a pure...
No matter what you
business
say,
sense, yeah.
You're going to piss somebody off.
Oh, 100%.
You can't walk like the middle all the way.
But I don't think that any Tom, Dick, and Harry that has $2,500 and a dream should have been able to have a license. I don't think you should have had. I don't think it should have been a, popularity contest, and you should have to know a lawmaker or somebody important to get a license either. I think that a fair price for a license, or even a limit to the licenses that wasn't crazy low, that not every person in the world could afford. Right. I would have been okay with that.
Well, you make them 25,000. Not.
I promise you,
enough people.
Enough,
right? Absolutely.
Not everybody needed to have a license that got a license, and anybody that's a serious business person could come up with $25,000 to get a license.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you. And like I said, that's gonna piss people off. But
I shared something on my Facebook earlier that was lowering prices won't get you any more sales. It'll just make your quality of customer worse.
Yeah.
Say
that again?
Lowering your prices on your products will not get you any more sales. It'll just make the quality of your customers worse. If you take something like, let's use a license, that price is $25,000, you lower it to $2,500, the class or quality of those people that are going to buy that license might be on two different spectrums. Like you just said, if you're a decent business person, you can find a way to come up with $25,000. If you can't figure that out, maybe that's your bar of entry.
Sure.
So I think having those low prices, I mean, you're just kind of opening the door. I mean, how many ex-criminals or ex-hustlers that jumped in this out the gate, kind of with that black market mind in place anyway. You've got this problem where Donnie Anderson, director of OBN, he said out of his mouth that this is not a problem that we can arrest our way out of, because we do know the majority of the black market is coming from out of state, out of country actors, organized crime. We do know that is the case, but kind of what he's saying there is they don't have enough time in the day to go and shut every one of them down, arrest everybody. They've got people doing raids and closing people down every day. So what we need to do is add more regulation. And I think that sucks, because when you over-regulate, you're hurting the people who are trying to do it right.
Yep.
And the guys who are doing it bad, they're going to keep doing it bad. Like, I know of places that have been raided and shut down. A couple people went to jail. I drive by them all the time. I still see people there. They're black market gonna black market. And if you go and shut somebody down and take one or two people to jail, leave everybody else there and never go back, guess what? You just made it easier to be an illicit operator. Now they don't have to pretend to do their metric correct, or they don't have to pretend to deal with OMA or have some, whatever straw ownership type shit. Like it now they're like, oh cool, like now all the eyes are off of us, because as a police officer or an investigator, you have a case, you close it, you move to the next one. You rarely look back at the ones that are closing off your desk. I think that's a big problem, because now the ones that are operating with the intention of selling out of state, those numbers aren't on any radar, right? Like there's and a lot of those places are in the middle of nowhere, a dirt road down a dirt road down a dirt road. So you're right, you don't have enough time in the day, but hurting the people or making the comment that we need to be at 8 growers. The amount of, fuck, dude, that's the thousands of humans, not just the owners, but their spouses, their kids, their family, thousands and thousands of Oklahomans. You're willy-nilly talking about putting out a business. I think that comment in itself deserves a little bit more attention.
Yeah, and he may have, well, I don't know, because that's a bold statement.
No, he could have misspoke.
He could have misspoke. I think he was pretty far off base with that, and I wish he hadn't have said that. I really wish he did. Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
That quote on here, do you remember where that was at in the interview? Was it towards the end, towards the beginning?
Oh Lord, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just curious. It was this dude that was speaking. He talked so many different times that it's hard to.
Yeah. No, he kind of kept jumping in. The director of DOC was on there a few times, and then there was another gentleman. I'm spacing right now exactly what he was doing or who he was representing. I will say the director of DOC, he made kind of a offhand comment, I thought, in regards to...
And who's this guy?
I forgot. It's the director of DOC. He's standing up there with them.
For the people that don't know what DOC is?
Department of Corrections.
Oh.
Yeah.
Legit. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what DOC is. I apologize.
Department of Corrections.
My brain wasn't even on Department of Corrections. I thought this was, honestly, I didn't know what you were talking about. So what the hell are you talking about?
I like how you got that.
You like that?
Yeah. That's right there. It's called a salesman tactic. For everybody else out there, that's when you forget someone's name and you run into them. Like you could use that to hey, will you ask that dude over there if I can, if you could borrow something?
My favorite.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah. My favorite one was, now how do you spell your name again? And then they spell their first name. I said, nope, silly, your last name.
Right.
Just because I was trying to remember their first
the
name.
Whole name. Yeah. No, that's great. Well, in a lot of this damn conference, I'm a salesperson, so my brain, I'm like, what's the agenda? Like in Rush Hour 2, he says, at the end of the day, you got to follow the rich white man.
Wow.
What's the agenda? It is.
I'm offended.
I am too.
Well, I'm not rich. Never mind.
Right. No, we're the poor.
That's
but so my brain's like, what's the agenda here? Who's benefiting? How? Like, where's this leading? But they use on everything, on every statistic, on everything. It's just maybe, should, probably, might. Like, those are words we use every day.
Every day.
We don't commit to anything.
I'm not giving you any definitive answer because A, it's not my place, and B, I may not know a definitive answer, especially if you're asking me a question about,
No, everything that we do, we sell a service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we have zero control of how the outcome's going to be. We can help you get there. We can make it easy, but we have learned from this and from anything we've done in our adult lives. You can't overpromise. But when I listen to this thing, I hear everything that's put out there is got a little bit of a caveat to it, right? Mm-hmm. And when you go do the studies, because they keep claiming that cannabis is so dangerous for our children. Somebody or the director of DOC, he brought up alcohol. He's like, and people will mention alcohol when you talk about the dangers of cannabis, which fun fact, if you look at the amount of alcohol-related underage deaths in the United States, that was 4,000. In Oklahoma, it was 21.
Hey, hold on. Come at me again with that.
So, alcohol usage, the amount of deaths in the United States of people underage was 4,000 humans lost their life in alcohol-related, accidents.
Okay.
The state of Oklahoma had 21 of those. If you look up cannabis underage usage-related deaths, there's none. But right, let's see. The problem with the entirety of all of these statements, the stuff that I'm saying, the stuff that they're saying, the stuff that Orca's saying, is across the board. When you really get into the weeds of any of these statements, there's not enough study.
Yeah, 100%.
There was one study done, because what they say is it's very, very dangerous for children as far as the development of their brain.
And I can get behind that.
No, I'm here with it. I do not believe that you should be feeding. I tell my kids all the time, because that's something that Joe Rogan says all the time.
Yeah.
Your brain doesn't stop developing until you're 21 years old. Women a little quicker, but men are 25 years old. I'm sorry. I think I said 21. But your brain does not stop developing until you're 25. So they did a study in Europe. It was this guy, Matthew Allball, which is...
that's funny. That's your family's name.
That's my mother's maiden name.
Yeah.
I've got an Allball crest in my house. But Matthew Allball, it was somewhere in the UK. He did a study.
By the way, guys, he's saying Allball, not all ball.
It's Allball.
Allball. ALBAUGH?
Ball. Allball.
You fucking with me?
No,
it's pronounced Allball?
Yeah, Allball, yeah. It's the...
No shit?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
I thought it was Allbah. Like Allbah. B-A-H. Like Bah.
My Ganny's name was Ganny Allball.
Yeah, I knew her name.
That's not her name. But
okay.
That's what I call her.
I mean, I know the last name Allbah. I didn't know it was pronounced Allball. That'd be dope.
But what these dudes are saying, or what Matthew's saying, Mr. Allball, Dr. Allball, is they did a study on 799 kids at the age of 14 to basically did a brain scan.
Okay.
And then when they were 19 years old, they did another study. And the ones that basically had owned up or confirmed that they were using cannabis, so I don't even think it was directly a cannabis study, but the ones that said they were using cannabis in that time period, in the frontal cortex, there's a membrane layer that it thins the older you get. And at 25, I guess, is when that that peak thinning is. With cannabis, they saw that cannabis is basically making that membrane thin a little quicker than if they weren't using cannabis.
Huh.
But in my dumb brain, because I'm not a, I'm not, we're not scientists. I know nothing. Yeah. All that tells me, I'm like, oh, you mean they're opening up their minds a little quicker? I mean, they're hey, there's a reason that the United States military likes to recruit you when you're in high school. They like 18-year-olds. You're moldable. You're formable. In World War I,
you're stupid enough to sign up. No,
well, it's easier to kind of to get you on the mission, get everybody in that same frame of mind. And this is just a random thing I learned in World War I. World War I essentially kicked off this public schooling, young military age recruiting, because in World War I, none of this had ever happened before. There were school systems, but they weren't like the government curriculum wasn't in place like it is today. Because they found that the majority of soldiers wouldn't shoot people. They wouldn't kill people.
Really?
You had people, mid-20s or older, because they had the draft, so they just got anybody they could.
Yeah.
It was something crazy, like 15% of soldiers that were in World War I are the ones who actually won the war, because there were so many people that would panic or put down their gun or just wouldn't kill someone. And so after World War I, they were like, we got to fix that. We got to
get some youngsters.
We got to just start training people.
Well, man, that's funny. It kind of
makes sense.
It does make sense, because think about it. What are in inner cities and in I don't want to say hip hop culture, but it kind of is. it's kind of a thing. Like, don't mess. I mean, how many gangs or like spin-offs of gangs or Young Boy or YN, and I'm not going to say what that stands for, but it's kind of a thing, bro. Like, youngsters in gangs are kind of known to be the fucking wild ones, and like,
those are the ones they send to go.
Kia boys.
No, remember our friend Jonathan J10. God
Yeah,
rest his soul.
yeah.
The person who
R.I.P.
killed him was a 12 or 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
That was a part of a gang that I won't name. That he was specifically sent to kill our friend Jonathan over by Booker T. Yeah,
because J10 had a colorful past.
Yeah,
he's a good dude, though.
Oh, dude, he was great.
Fucking great
One of the
guy.
guys that would light up a room.
Yep.
I still got videos with him because
No shit. I'd like to see those sometime.
We made some skits. It was at the Cream of Corn Productions. That was a different time.
So, if in case you guys don't know, because you don't, but I'm going to tell you, our my esteemed co-host / bestie for the resty, he's completely straight, probably, I think. He's got 10 kids, so he's got to be at least mostly straight.
Are you talking about my sexuality?
Well, was, yeah. But he's got cock tattooed on his arm.
You can't prove that.
Pause. Now, cock, K-O-K. K-O-K, not like the chicken cock, but just, K-O-K. And it stands for cream of corn, cream and corn spelled with a K.
There's a few other people out there with this same tattoo.
I was not so lucky as to be a member of Cream of Corn.
This was slightly before your time.
I'm pretty sure you can YouTube Cream of Corn spelt that way and find some dumbass videos from you guys.
No, I don't think you can.
Really?
Because
I swear you showed me something.
You might. There might, but we removed a lot of them because we started making videos before YouTube existed.
Yeah,
like we were a little ahead of the curve. And so we were making CDs. I think we made 2 CDs that we actually like distributed and sold, and then a bunch of videos. But one of the guys that was shooting these videos with us, he ended up being a college professor, and then he ended up going and being a high school coach and a wrestling coach. So he just was like, "Hey, like, can we please, like, we got to remove those." Like, he's in a situation where he's a wild boy, and he could not have a good amount of that on the internet for any student.
And this is a friend of ours currently.
I don't know. I don't want to say his name, but
yeah, that's fair.
I don't think you might have met him. I know you've.
Okay.
I know you've met him.
Berry Hill boy?
No.
Okay.
No.
Cream of Corn boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'll tell you afterwards. I don't want to put his name out there, but
I'll fucking post it on Facebook. I'm just kidding. So, hey, you know what a good thing to be? So, it's funny enough, I want to urge people listening, this press conference that Shane's been talking about, you guys go watch it. It's easy to find. Google OBN press conference, and it'll pop up. The video link that I found, I was going to share a clip from it, but we're running out of time, and I got some other stuff I want to talk about. But the clip, the video that I found was shared by KOKH Fox 25, which I think is the Fox Oklahoma City Fox. Tulsa's Fox 23. We shoot out of Tulsa, guys. We're Tulsans, Tulsa boys. Well, Owasso and Skytook, but Tulsa, same thing. So you can find it on News 6, Fox 25. All these are Shannon's. Go watch it because they touch on more than just what you were talking about. I'm noticing that they slipped in some stuff they're talking about the Farm Bill. Matter of fact, the clip I was wanting to show was a clip of Adria Berry, which everybody surely knows who that is. She's the director of OMMA, Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority. The clip that I saw, she said that she is they're basically spending all their resources right now on intoxicating minors, which is intoxicating minor cannabinoids.
Right.
I don't know if THCA is considered one, but it is. THCA, Delta 8, all that good stuff. THCV, all the letters of the alphabet, AKJ, all that good stuff. But yeah, so they talk about that on there, and that's probably going to be something we talk about on the next podcast because there has been a lot of excitement behind the farm bill stuff. Like, you look in Texas, people, I don't know if people realize this, but there is an entire cannabis community in Texas. There's dispensaries inundated in Dallas and Houston. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And it is because of the quote unquote loophole in the farm bill that basically says, if, and for you guys that don't know, when you have flower, just flower, most of the THC in that is not Delta 9 THC, which is the THC that gets you high. It's THCA, or THC acetate. That is the young, underdeveloped version of Delta 9. And so that is what has to be what we call decarbed. It stands for decarboxylated. And that's, has to be cooked or be held at a certain temperature for X amount of time in order for you to be able to get high. Because if you ingest THCA, before it's heated up, right, it will do nothing. You'll poop it out and it'll be done. I'm sure there's probably some medical, benefits or whatever.
It'll help with inflammation.
Yeah, but that's the go-to.
Everything helps with inflammation.
Yeah. Everything that's not inflammation helps with inflammation.
Right.
Everything that's not inflammatory is an anti-inflammatory. No. So there is a lot of crazy, it's a big market. It's everywhere. I know everybody that's listening to this has surely to God seen it, or even, because I used to see it and not really understand what I was looking at. But, you can go to head shops and gas stations and things like that and get THCA flower, THCA gummies and all this. And it's just a massive loophole because none of that's really THCA except for the flower. Right, but the minute you burn THCA, like when you put it in a joint and smoke it, bam, it's Delta 9. And so even if you go grab that shit off the shelf right now and test it, most of it will test over what the legal limit of Delta 9 is. Yeah. But the way the farm bill is written is, you have to get, Department of Agriculture comes out to your farm and they test in the field the hemp, your hemp or your whatever you've got out there. It's supposed to be hemp. And if the Delta 9 THC limit is under, 0.03 or 0.03 or whatever, right, then it's legal. And then that's it. Done. So from that moment, that test forward, whatever it, degrades into right. is fine. It's legal, quote unquote, because it only accounts for the way the bill is written. It only matters for that test. So that's how these crazy, loopholes have happened, these dispensaries in Dallas. And so now all that's being threatened pretty seriously. Like, it's probably going to go away. And dude, I really feel for him, bro. I really do.
Oh, I don't.
Do people? Whoa!
I don't, man.
No, think about this. Hold on. Let me give you another perspective. You're somebody who doesn't live in Oklahoma. Okay, mm-hmm. You live in Texas, and you had a donut shop for 20 years, and Krispy Kreme moved in down the street and fucked your world up, okay? And right. Now you've lost your ass, and you see a new exciting opportunity on the horizon. You don't know much about THC or weed, but you smoke a lot of it, okay? Right. But you have a history in business, and you see that there's this hemp farm bill thing, and there's able to have dispensaries and sell them, and you open up and you dump you empty your 401k, you empty your savings account, and you open a business down there, okay? Right. And you start buying this shit legally because you can, right? And you've dumped everything into it, and now you're 3 months in, you're just starting to turn a profit, and now it's about to be taken all away from you.
No, you could paint a picture any direction you want to.
I'm with you.
That for sure sucks, but
I feel for those guys because
what I'm seeing when I've looked into this, it's not they're gonna get rid of the hemp and that's that. Like, the push is to make medical or adult use medical like our marijuana instead of this farm bill shit.
No, brother.
No, it is.
I'm telling you right down there in Texas right now. Uh-huh. They're looking currently at axing THCA dispensaries and shit.
Right.
Gone.
Right. But they're also looking to put in medical marijuana.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm undereducated on that side of it.
You have, I mean, you could fill up a auditorium with the amount of legislators they have in Texas.
Yeah,
it's all these different.
crazy.
I mean, but there's a whole force that's going after the Farm Bill stuff. But on the other side of that, there's an entire force who are also opposing the Farm Bill stuff.
Yeah.
But are in place of making actual medical marijuana use. Like, that's
right.
the shift, because my problem is, and this is why I don't feel bad.
I can jive with that.
I don't feel bad because you've got to, that loophole has to be in place for you to exist, right? There's extra steps that you have to take to be compliant with that loophole. I would just prefer the real thing. Like, you know,
I don't disagree with
homemade
that.
mashed potatoes, you want to eat instant mashed potatoes. Like, I would rather eat homemade. I would rather have like real
I know for a
wheat.
fact that you would prefer instant mashed potatoes.
No, I've changed.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say, you used to.
No, I used to. Yeah,
You fucking weird me out.
No. I was raised on them. I've made a lot of dinners with water and flake mixed mashed potatoes. But then, and I've had homemade mashed potatoes at like different Thanksgivings with people, and I always thought they sucked. And like half the time they had potato skins in them, which I hated.
See, I jive with that. I'm a fan.
But my wife, like the way she does them, like I'm not gonna say entirely because I think it's like a special way.
Fucking
but
just say it, dog.
There's a little bit of cream cheese in them.
Okay, that's
with
not
other
super uncommon.
No, they're great. Like now I made like that's funny because I made instant mashed potatoes 2 nights
Now you
ago.
put cream cheese in them.
Yeah, no, I ate them and they were gross. Like I was like, really? Like God,
I like to put a little bit of ranch powder in mine. So like I do mashed potatoes. Like when I do
good, dude.
when I do mashed potatoes, I leave a little bit of the skins on because I like it, right? But then I put cream. I don't put cream cheese. I have actually.
You're gonna next time now.
I'm gonna try it. Yeah,
You're gonna
it's been a
next
while.
time. God, I keep
so
grabbing
salt,
this.
pepper, real butter because damn margarine. If you eat margarine, then nuts to you. No.
No, it's nasty. 'Cause
It
I
is
used to
disgusting.
I get that County Crock or Country Crock.
Country crock, yeah, county crock. So
No more.
yeah, so yeah, man. But I don't remember who it was. I want to say, man, I want to say it was Cammy, maybe. But if not Cammy, then it was Davey or like maybe Will Palmer. I'm not sure. But
That's a funny spectrum.
yeah, right. Well, I'm just that's who I remember that was who I was hanging out with at the time. So, but make your potatoes. Boil your potatoes down, put them in the pot, put your butter, your salt, your pepper, and then add in at that moment before you mash it up, stir it all together. Add in some ranch powder or some ranch dressing, but ranch powder is better, and then mix that up together, bro. They're pretty damn bomb. Not gonna lie. Okay, so I think a good idea, because we've recorded a few of these that we've been robbing for clips. Really, it's just been us trying to dial in on things, and I feel like we've dialed in barely.
It's like we make progress.
That's what we practice,
And like
yeah.
our first episode, I was like, oh, dude,
we got this, bro.
And then like the third one, we were like,
I was like, oh, shit.
Like we shouldn't have a bookshelf. Like we should not.
And this set's gonna change too a little bit. We got some stuff we're gonna add to it, but I think a good thing to do is to just kind of we need to talk about, maybe tell people a little bit about. We probably should have done this at the beginning, but kind of what our plan is. Kind of what we're gonna touch on. Our goal of this podcast is. We've been best friends for 20 years, damn near. We're not quite at 20, but we're flirting with it. So we have a real natural chemistry together. Anyway, we're pretty close. Best. Man, I feel so bad for people that don't have a bestie. Like
That's the majority of of people. Like you know that, right? Like especially after it's like a certain age. I think it's like once you hit like 37 up, like most people don't have
cell phones.
Friends.
Everything's because of cell phones. Anyways, I was kind of joking, kind of, but yeah. So we work in a medical, where we work in an ISO accredited medical laboratory. It just so happens that 99.998% of our business is cannabis, and really it's all cannabis. When we got a few people that are non-cannabis that test with us every once in a while, but. So we definitely like to talk about the Oklahoma cannabis market, testing, science.
We love it.
And then also just general
Jive.
tomfoolery, fuckery, if you will, of the things that we did when, from stories from then to now and so on. And now that we're family guys, we don't get to party and nor do we have the desire to. But
no, see, that's I'm good.
I'm making it sound super
Party.
depressing, but being
party.
a dad and a husband's dope as shit. It's everything I ever wanted in life. But
It has its moments.
But it's just like, it's kind of nice that we get to have a podcast and relive the glory days, if you will, and also get to we're pretty lucky if you think about it. How often do two besties get to work together long term together, and both be pretty successful at it and good at their job, and then get to hang out with their best friend every day. That's we're pretty freaking lucky.
You know who comes to mind when you say that?
Who?
Because the only two that I know are
Beavis and Butthead?
no
Batman and Robin?
Peter Berg and what's it, Ari Hammer?
Ari Hammer, that sounds like a porn star.
No, he's the guy who owns WME. The guy he
I don't
essentially
know what WME is.
It's like a big talent
Waste
agency.
management?
No. It's like the biggest celebrities that are represented by WME. It's the guys who hold the TKO holding group.
It's definitely not Ari Hammer, because when I search that, only Army Hammer comes up, and
It's Army Hammer. Yeah,
he was born in 1986 and is an American actor.
So him,
Really, that's it?
Him
That's
and
good.
Peter Berg, which Peter Berg is the guy that new show on Netflix, something Savage, I can't. It's that dude. It's such a wild show. It's something like the Savage American West or something like that. Peter Berg.
Okay, I want you to know that if you Google Army Hammer and Peter Berg's not an option, and even when I type in Peter
Berg is 100% an option.
Listen, whatever you say, man. All right,
Dude,
I'm not going to argue with you.
Hold on. Yeah, you are. But either way, those guys are best friends. They were roommates in college, and now they're bazillionaires.
Army Hammer and Peter Berg have collaborated on the film The Hurt Locker, where Berg directed Hammer.
Yeah, when you Google Peter Berg, he pops right up.
Really?
What are you talking about?
Maybe I'm.
You got that
Google's fucked
Gamecast
up.
service.
Never mind. So yeah, and I would love to get like a mailbag going. Like if
that'd
anybody,
be fun.
Yeah, it'd be dope, dude.
Send us some anthrax.
We'll
Take
take
us out early.
and we're demonetized. No, I'm just kidding. No, we'll never be monetized. No, I would love to have if you're seeing this, I would love to have a questions, anything as far as personal to freaking cannabis related to testing related to whatever.
Fan questions would be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We will definitely have contact info listed when this is posted, and we're still pretty early in, but we'll have all the contact info listed and where we're going to be having this go live at.
No, in all seriousness, this is we're not going anywhere.
No.
As a whole, so we're the Controlled Burn. We're definitely gonna have some sponsors out there. If you're interested in sponsoring, please reach out to us directly. There's contact information in the description.
Checks payable to Brandon Fountain.
Right. Yeah. No, we're for sure interested in sponsors. I know we're going to be at most of the big events in Oklahoma Cannabis. Terp Float, obviously, Harvest Fest, Cowboy Cup, Terps and Chains just happened, which, dude, I heard that went really good.
I was bummed to miss it, dude. I had no idea it was going to fall on the weekend that I was going to be out of town.
No, so we didn't go to it because you... a couple of us were out of town.
Yeah. Matthew and Megan were out of town, too. You were basically the only one here.
Right. And I'll be honest, we've been doing this since the beginning, and there's been a lot of wasted time events.
I heard that was not one.
No, remember the one we went to in Shawnee?
I didn't go, remember?
Yeah, you did. It was Steve Roper.
I did not go.
Only me and Virgil went to that?
Yes.
I could have swore you came.
Remember, I couldn't go. There was a reason. I can't remember why.
Oh, it was...
But I didn't go. I saw him pictures.
Awful.
I saw pictures.
Well, it was the guy that was Eminem's like DJ at some point. That was like the big selling point. It was the person performing like DJ'd a song for Eminem, something like that. Yeah. And
it's Oklahoma. It's easy to sell a show around here.
well, and you feel awful because like the people who put on those kind of events, they're kind of like, you know, trying to like willpower things to happen. So you got like one person out there dancing and everybody else just kind of like, all right, we're gonna leave. Like we're gonna pack up and get out of here.
Cringe.
But also, I'll be honest, like, you know, my apologies, but I didn't go because number one, I don't play a lot of disc golf. And
Looks super fun.
I've played like once or twice.
I've thrown a disc or two at the chain thing, but I've never.
I have a whole set of them.
Really?
Yeah. I've got a cousin.
I'd play that.
Who's pretty big in it, and he
Which
gave
cousin?
me Matthew.
Okay.
Yeah, he gave me a set a while back, and I still have them. They're like they're kind of heavy. Like you've thrown one, right?
The one that worked at the school thing, the daycare thing. Younger guy? It was a couple grades younger than us at Bear Hill? Okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He worked in a daycare?
Yeah, worked at, I thought it was weird too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why do you remember that? That's
because,
crazy.
I'll tell you why I remember that, because he started dating that Stacy girl around that time.
I almost said her whole name.
Don't do that.
I almost said her. Dude, she was always nice.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
she was always I'm still friends with her on Facebook. She's cool as shit.
I will. So you know, I know we're bullshitting right now, but I did want to say I had to get this point out. It was going to drive me crazy if I didn't. That weight that OBN did say that is over, like the you know, we're producing way too much. That number was based on wet flower. I know Orca came out and did say that that number is,
that helps,
like with the stem seeds wetness, like because he what was his name, Green
Jed?
Yeah, he said something like when you dry cannabis, you lose like 76% of the weight.
Yeah,
which I learned that because I grew.
I was going to say
got my
50%. I didn't think so. But yeah, I believe that. So yeah.
Well, I wanted to, because I had that tent at my house, and I wanted to grow just because I wanted to see if I could do it.
I suck at it. I tried.
Well, I wanted to learn because, you know, when we came into this, I mean, we'd been around pot, but we didn't know, like, you know, we weren't really in the weeds with it. So I grew it, and I remember the first cola I had, I mean, was like the size of like a softball. And I was like, yeah, dude, I am a god. I grew the best weed ever. And then I hung it for a week.
And then you couldn't cure it?
Well, it was insane. Like, it was so, and then like, you realize why, like, people like top, and that's just to make it like widen out the way it grows. But I kept all, like, everything, every little branch that grew off. And you go to most grows and you see like half the plant is chopped up. And that's because the ones at the bottom that get like that big, when they dry, it's a dust. Like, it's nothing. So instead of letting your plant get put energy into things that are never gonna get to a good
just
point.
Not going to, right?
So I'm like, so I grew just so I could learn like little tidbits.
Good jive
like
with that.
Yeah. It's but I did want to like say that because
that makes that number
75% smaller, essentially,
roughly. Yeah. Which now it's much less unbelievable. Like, it's much more believable now.
Right. Well,
I'm not saying I didn't believe them, but it just, that was a big ass number.
Well, no, which at the end of the day, like, we don't think there's truly. I mean, you can conspiracy theory anything to death, but I don't think
flat Earth.
That's the one so I've never let myself jump on that road because I've gone down the moon landing, I've gone down JFK. The flat JFK. Earth one, I just can't. I don't want to. I don't. I'm good.
I've dabbled because not because I believed it, but because I wanted to see.
I want to hear the argument,
bro. I can tell you this, man. You can spin anything to be anything if you try hard enough.
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you that because I've seen some, debunked theories, like the debunked proof of flat Earth, and yeah, bro, if you're just a regular dude and don't want to take the time to look into the why, there's a whole lot of shit that would make you believe that flat Earth was real until you hear an explanation. You're like, oh my god.
Okay, in a in the easiest, shortest, just keep it simple, stupid way. What's the biggest fact that if you had to just one statement to tell me why the Earth is flat, what is their argument?
There's a million. Like
they don't have like one thing. They're like, obviously, because like you look at the moon
they say the lens thing, like because people say when people go up in the sky, in outer space. Sorry, I couldn't find the word there. Into orbit, that you can see that the world is rounded from there, and so obviously they can't say, well, every one of those videos is doctored, because there's been people that are I guess indifferent that have went up and they've seen video and you can see the round Earth, and so their basic rebuttal to that is, well, every camera has a fisheye lens. Kind of has to. That's how they operate. That's how they work. Blah blah blah.
Right.
And the ones that don't, no one's ever taken one. If you take one of those up there, you'll see that it's really not. And it's really stupid. It's really stupid. It's an overwhelming stupidity.
Well, I don't understand the benefit. Like, what do you get? Like, what does it matter?
Right. It's like, I guess that the government's been lying to us. Allegedly.
Well, because if you want to prevent people from, leaving, I think the atmosphere does a pretty good job of that. Like I think there's been, one person.
Well, it's a dome, Shane. It's not an atmosphere. It's a dome.
Like you
could go up and clunk, hit your head on it because it's the dome. I think that's the overwhelming majority's rule. I believe.
Well,
I don't know. I'm not a flat earther. I'm trying to play devil's advocate a bit, but it's pretty.
No,
stupid.
I literally, because I'm never gonna I listen.
You ought to. You ought to just dabble in it. Just have fun.
Yeah, but what if they turn me,
bro?
What if I get flopped? Because
this podcast will cease to
before.
I can't be a co-host of flat earther.
Here's my problem, dude.
Can't do it.
Before I stumbled into did we go to the moon in the 1900s conversation, I would have bet my children that we had gone to the moon. I would not do that today.
No,
I'm not saying we did or we didn't, but I'm saying I don't feel quite as confident as I did before.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I peeked at it.
It's weird. It's a weird one, dude.
I think we can go to the moon now.
Oh,
what,
bro? This is one of the I know we didn't talk about.
Is this a conspiracy?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
shit.
No. So I'm not gonna.
We're supposed to be rapping, by the way.
Real fast.
Okay.
So did you see? I think it was Venezuela. Released a bunch of classified documents about Nazis this week.
No.
Okay, so. And what put me on this is I watch, I'm constantly watching the UFC, anything. So I saw Tim Kennedy had said,
UFC fighter, by the way.
Former UFC fighter, American badass, veteran. He was a special forces operator. Crazy dude, but. He used to have a show on the History Channel called Hunting Hitler, like 10 years ago. It was on the History Channel, and it was Hunting Hitler with Tim Kennedy.
Okay.
And the conspiracy is that Nazis, Hitler, and a bunch of different Nazis, to avoid death, essentially, they fled to Argentina and Venezuela.
Okay, I've heard about this.
Well, and the rumor is there's like towns in those countries that you can go to today where there's a bunch of blonde-headed, blue-eyed people.
Really?
So Tim Kennedy does the show.
There's any validity to it?
Well, then I haven't read it personally, so if I'm wrong here, slap me. But
okay. Hope you're wrong.
Because I did a quick Google, and with what Tim Kennedy said, in these documents that they released, it said that Hitler did move there during World War II. He fled there, and he grew old and died there. Like he did not die by suicide.
What?
Like the story is told, today, right now. The agreed upon story today is that it was like Hitler and his girlfriend or his wife. Like he killed her and then he killed himself. It was like a murder suicide thing.
Right.
And I do know that Hitler's body was preserved. And some DNA was ran on it in the last few years, and that DNA said that it was a woman body, it wasn't even his body. But Venezuela literally just did this. Yeah, man, Hitler did some island hopping. Grew old in Argentina, Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll be Googling. I'll be following that rabbit hole.
Oh, there'll be a Netflix.
I'm pretty interested in that.
Yeah, there'll be a Netflix doc, 100%.
Also, I think you just got us pigeonholed into a certain category of podcast.
Because I said Nazi, or because I brought up a conspiracy. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, folks, peeps, my dudes and gals,
we out.
we out of here.
This has been
the Controlled Burn.
The Controlled Burn.
See you next time.
Peace.